Hey guys, it's Chrissy. I just wanted to do a quick 32-week update, which is kind of crazy because I can't believe I'm actually 32 weeks. I have a rare opportunity to film this video because Kaden is napping and Chris is out at the grocery store, so I thought I would take advantage and film away. So I never thought, like I said, that I'd make it to 32 weeks. I honestly didn't even think I'd make it to 26, let alone 28. 28 was like my goal going into this pregnancy, and we surpassed it. Made it to 30, now 32. So as of today, Saturday, I am 32 weeks and 2 days. So baby Ella's been growing, and I just wanted to give you an update on how I've been doing, how she's been doing. I went on Monday of this week to both my high-risk doctor and my OB. I actually had scheduled appointments back to back, which was kind of nice because our doctors are like an hour and a half away. So making that commute multiple times on rotating weeks was just becoming a lot. So it was nice to actually coordinate an appointment for once. And we started out at the high-risk doctor. We learned that Ella was 4 pounds, 5 ounces. So I wasn't even 32 weeks yet, and she was weighing that. Everything, according to the doctor, looked really, really good. She said that she has no reason to think that I'm going to deliver early, no reason to think that there's really going to be any problems. Knock on wood, of course. And actually, I graduated. She released us, and she said, you know, I'll see you in the hospital, but I really don't see any reason to bring you into my office between now and the time that you deliver. I think that you're on track to be okay. Keep taking your progesterone, keep seeing your OB. And yeah, so we graduated from the high-risk doctor, which we did not expect that going into the appointment. So on the one hand, it was a really nice surprise because she's awesome, and the fact that she feels confident in this pregnancy is very reassuring. But at the same time, it's nice to go anywhere from 2 to 4 weeks and see the baby, you know, have an ultrasound, very in-depth ultrasound, and just to make sure that everything is good. So we're kind of grateful, of course, to be released, but we're also a little nervous, a lot nervous to not be getting those scans on a routine basis anymore. But after that, we went to the OB appointment. And he told me, again, that it was on Monday, so I was 31 weeks, 4 days at the time. He told me my belly was measuring 32 weeks, and he seemed pleased. He said, you know, I've been telling you this from the beginning of this pregnancy, that I didn't think you were going to deliver early. I still don't think you're going to deliver early. His goal for me is to make it to 36 weeks, and that's been his goal all along because he feels confident that at 36 weeks, the baby would be okay, she'd be able to avoid NICU time, and she'd be able to basically go right home with us. So all along, this 36 number has just been put out there from the get-go, and he reiterated that again. He said, I feel confident you can make it at least to 36 weeks. That's what I'd like to see you do. So it's just kind of crazy thinking about that now because that's only a month away. That's less than 4 weeks away. So she could be here in less than 4 weeks, or 4 weeks. I mean, hopefully she won't come before then. Hopefully she'll come, I don't know, between 36 and 38. That's kind of what I'm looking for her to arrive at. But it's just nuts that is so soon. That is so close. When this pregnancy started, I couldn't even project into the future that far. I couldn't allow my imagination to go there. And now we're finally at the point where we're talking about Ella like she's coming home with us. And that's a huge transition because for anybody who's been through a loss in the past, they know that it's incredibly difficult to actually put yourself in the state of mind where you can say, yeah, my baby's coming home with me, or you can talk about that definitively. And now obviously there's no certainty and there's no given. there's no guarantee. We know that. We know that firsthand. But at the same time, it is nice to just finally allow ourselves to let go of the fear a little bit and let the hope outweigh the fear, and just be hopeful and optimistic that yes, she's coming home, and yes, she's going to be healthy, and she's going to be alive, and she's going to grow up in this house with us. So that's been a recent transition. Like Chris and I literally just in the last 2 weeks have started those conversations of, oh my God, can you believe like she might actually be coming home? It's nuts. It's nuts. And it's nice. It's nice to be able to just for a minute go to that place where most average, pregnant women, most mothers allow themselves to go on a routine basis, like to the future. Like, yes, I'm going to envision my baby coming home, and this is the life we're going to have, and these are the dreams I have for her. And when you're a lost mom, that's hard to do. And it's terrifying to do because you've done that once before, and all of your dreams were crushed and they were taken away from you in a split second. And so, it's constantly a balancing act of emotions, but it's nice to finally be at a point where we feel like we can allow that hope to come back in. So it's cool. It's cool. And let's see what else. I know in my last video, I talked about the glucose test and how I was nervous about gestational diabetes based on Ella's size and the fact that she had a big head. Fortunately, I passed, yay, the glucose test, and no gestational diabetes. But from that blood work, they did let me know that I have low iron. So I've been taking an iron supplement, and it makes sense, I guess, that I had low iron because I'd been really tired. I'm still really tired, but I've been taking the supplement now for 2 or 3 weeks, I think. I'm still completely exhausted, but I am taking that. They also, when they did the glucose test, just ran my blood type again, which they already knew, but I guess they have to do it to check. And because I'm O negative, I had to have the Rogam shot, which I got on Monday at the OB. And basically what that is because I'm, what is it? Not CMV negative. I don't know. Something in my blood could create antibodies that would attack the baby's blood. So they have to give me this shot to prevent that from happening. It's a shot in the butt. I had it with my ectopic pregnancy. I had it with the twin pregnancy. So it's nothing new. It's no big deal. But I had that on Monday also. Let's see. I'm just looking at a list here so that I don't forget anything. One of the things that the high-risk doctor had mentioned, not at my appointment on Monday, but at the one before that, was that my OB might be considering giving me steroids, betamethasone. And these are shots that I had in the hospital with the twins. Basically what they are is steroid shots that are supposed to propel the baby's lung growth. So whenever a mother is in a situation where she might deliver early, which I obviously was while I was on bed rest with the twins, they give the mom a shot, a series of 2 shots actually, back to back. Give the first shot, 2 nights later, you give the second shot. They propel the baby's lung growth in hopes that it can speed up development of the lungs so that the baby is more prepared to breathe on his or her own in the event that they arrive early. So the high-risk doctor said, your doctor's probably going to choose like an arbitrary time, maybe 30 weeks, maybe 32 weeks, where he'll want to give you those shots. So I asked the OB about that on Monday because he hadn't actually brought it up. And he said, I looked back in her notes, talking about the high-risk doctor. She said it's completely subjective, and it said that she wanted me to consider giving you the shots. And he actually wasn't really feeling like he wanted to give me the shots because, again, he's convinced that I'm not going to deliver early. He thinks I can make it to 36 weeks, and he feels like that's the safe zone. He said, there is a slight risk with giving the shots. There is a slight risk to the baby. He's like, it's nothing astronomical. It's nothing to be overly concerned about, but I almost feel like it's not worth taking the risk of giving you the shots now because I'm not convinced you're going to end up in a situation where you're delivering her early. So he said, you also have to consider, you know, if you go into preterm labor, you start having contractions, we're going to bring you into the hospital. We're going to put you on bed rest. We're going to try to slow contractions. So if that ends up happening, we can give you the shots then when you're in the hospital. Like if it looks like there's actually a risk that Ella will come early, then I'll give you the steroid shots then. So he wanted to know my opinion. I said, you know, I'll talk it over with Chris. I'll let you know. For now, let's not do it. Let's not do the shots. And he would like to give them between 32 weeks and 34 weeks anyway. So I said, if I'm coming back in 2 weeks, we'll just revisit the conversation then. But after talking it over with Chris, I think we've decided that we're just going to go with his advice, what he thinks is best, which is to not have the steroids. So I actually did have them with the twins, like I said. The earliest they'll give them is at 23 weeks gestation. So I literally got my shot while I was in the hospital at midnight when I turned 23 weeks because I was adamant about it. I was adamant. I was terrified they were coming early. I have pictures actually with the nurse and the shot because I was so excited to be getting the first steroid shot. Little did I know, 2 nights later when I got the second one, that I would be delivering the twins the very next day. So it's just kind of nuts. It's kind of nuts. Like I got the shots that I had been wanting the whole 9 days I was on bed rest. And then after the last shot, they came hours later. It's just crazy. So crazy. But I go back to my OB in 2 weeks. And after that, he said, I'll go to him every week. So it's getting to the point now where we're getting close, which is wild. Wild. I've gained 30 pounds. That's what he told me he wanted me to max out at. He told me, he's like, because you're only 5'2", I really want you to max out at 30 pounds this pregnancy. And I'm already there with potentially 8 weeks to go. So yeah, I feel huge. I've had people tell me I'm huge. I've had other people tell me I'm tiny. I've learned people say stupid stuff to pregnant women, and specifically to pregnant women who've had losses. I know that people say stupid things about grief and about loss in general. I could do a whole video on things people have said to me that are god awful, things you wouldn't even believe people would have the audacity to say. But being pregnant now after a loss, there's like a whole new slew of things people can say that are insulting and offensive and just completely inappropriate. So maybe I'll do a video on that. But I literally work with someone who cannot help but comment every single time she sees me, which is multiple times a day, 5 days a week, on how large I am and how my due date must be off. I said to her just the other day, I said, I actually know the exact date and time at which I got pregnant and conceived this baby. She seems to forget that in a same-sex relationship, you need medical intervention in order to get pregnant, but whatever. I digress. She's also said some other really stupid stuff to me that I'll have to tell you about in a future video. But along the lines of letting the hope outweigh the fear and actually talking about Ella like she's coming home, we did just this past week start working on projects for her room. So that's been fun. I feel like I'm fully in nesting mode, which I never really got to with the twins. So that's something new that I've been experiencing. We live in a 3-bedroom house. So obviously we have a room, Caden has a room, and then there's a room for Ella. But in reality, there's really only half of a room for Ella. And that's because Caden has so many toys and so many big toy pieces of furniture, I guess you would call them, that have kind of overflowed into part of Ella's room. So half of Ella's room is her room and half of her room is Caden's playroom for right now until we finish our basement. Which is fine because truthfully, Ella's gonna be staying in our room for at least the first 6 months. So even though we have a crib set up for her in her room and the changing table and everything, she's going to be sleeping in our room, obviously, for a while, so it's okay. But we did start projects. So I'm going to try to take some videos or some pictures of what we've done so far, and I'll try to add them into this video if I can figure out how to do that exactly. But it all started out, we didn't really have a theme in mind. We were kind of procrastinating when it came to her room, just because after loss, you can't really help but do that. And we went one day randomly to Target, and in the Target dollar spot, they had these adorable pillows that were on sale for like $5 or something. And the pattern I just loved. And I was like, oh my God, I want to use these pillows in her room. But obviously I'm not just going to shove the pillows in her crib, because A, that's dangerous and not something you're supposed to do. But also I want this pattern to be displayed somehow in the room. So I bought 3 of the pillows and decided to use them for crafts and to basically rip apart the pillows and use the fabric instead. So that's what we've been up to, and we've been making other things to go along with it. So I'll have to show you guys. But it's been fun, it's been exciting, everything's kind of coming together. It's really cute. So hopefully she makes it here to enjoy everything and enjoy her room. What else? Last week, the other teachers on my team were nice enough to throw me a shower. They had actually asked me a couple months ago if I would be open to having a shower, which really meant a lot to me, because they understood that that might be a touchy, difficult thing for me, because I've never had a baby shower. And so they've been really respectful along the way in my whole pregnancy, very supportive. They've been awesome to me. So they had asked me if I was open to having a shower. I told them I wanted to think about it, because I honestly didn't know at the time how I felt. And I thought about it, I talked it over with Chris, and I finally came to the point where I said, you know, I've never had a baby shower, and this baby deserves to be celebrated, and I shouldn't let my sadness over not getting to have one with the twins and not being able to bring the twins home the way that everything should have happened, I shouldn't let that affect this pregnancy. So I said yes, that I was open to it. And from that point on, you know, I was involved in everything. So they told me when it was going to be. I didn't know all of the nitty-gritty details about the shower, but I at least knew that it was happening. I knew when it was happening. And it was so nice. It was literally the perfect shower. It couldn't have been any better. It was low key. It was at a local Mexican restaurant after work on a Thursday, and it was perfect. I was able to just sit at the table with some of my close friends from work, have great food, have fun conversation. There were games that were played. It wasn't like I was sitting up in front of a whole group of people, because as an anxious person to begin with, that would not have gone well for me. I would have been a paranoid mess the whole time. But we all just kind of sat, ate, talked, and then we had cake. And finally at the end, my team was like, why don't you just pack up your gifts and take them home and, you know, open them at home where you're comfortable. So it was really nice to not feel like I was in the spotlight in front of everybody with all the attention on me. It was just a nice celebratory way of celebrating baby Ella and having a good time. So that was phenomenal. It really couldn't have been a better shower. I don't think I'm having a family shower, which I won't get into, but just from recent conversations I've had with family, I don't think there's one being thrown or planned, which is what it is. I'm gonna refrain from talking about that. But from the work shower, we were lucky enough to get our double stroller, which we really needed. So the infant car seat that we already have from Caden fits in the top. So we've already washed everything and set up the stroller. So that's good to go for Ella, and then Caden can sit in the front. It has like 12 different positions, which is cool. And what else? We have her changing table set up with the changing pad cover. She got some cute little outfits for summer, which are hanging in her closet. Everything's been cleaned and is hanging ready and waiting for her. I don't know if you guys know this, but obviously didn't have a shower with the twins because I went into the hospital at 22 weeks. They were delivered at 23 weeks, 2 days. But my sister had been planning a shower for Caden. Once he was in the NICU for a couple months and we knew from the nurses that he would eventually be coming home, she planned a shower for him. And then literally the day before the shower was supposed to be, he was transferred. Caden was transferred to another hospital an hour away to be seen by a cardiothoracic surgeon because he had a cyst in his right lung and we needed to find out if it needed to be operated on and removed. So that shower ended up being canceled at the last minute. So it's not like I've ever had a shower. I don't even know. I don't know. It's just, and you know what? I think that was a good thing. I think that was a good thing because going from a twin pregnancy to losing one of your children to having a child in the NICU for over 100 days, to then have a shower for just one of your children, one of your twins, knowing that it should have been a shower for both of your babies, would have been very difficult emotionally, and I don't think it would have been a good thing for us. So Chris and I have said many times that we think Carly played a role in all of that, in having Caden transferred to the other hospital at precisely the time that it happened, because there's no way we would have been able to make it through that shower. There's just no way we would have been able to put on a smile and be gracious and grateful for everything that we were getting for Caden, knowing full well that we lost our daughter and it should have been a shower for both of our babies. Like, it would have been impossible to put on a smile the whole time and just act like we were fine. There would have been many emotional breakdowns. It would have been a mess. It would have been a mess. So I think it was a blessing in disguise. I think Carly worked her magic in that case. Speaking of Carly, Chris and I decided we are using her clothes and some of the things we had purchased for her for Ella, which wasn't really as difficult of a decision as I thought it would be. We both feel very confident that Carly brought us Ella and that they've met, their souls have been together before Ella came to this world, and that it's appropriate to have Carly's things be worn and used by Ella. Rather than sit in boxes, rather than collect dust, it just feels right to know that we'll be able to put Carly's little sister in her things, and that those things will actually be used and will be worn by a little baby girl. And just like if Carly were here, she'd pass down her clothes and her toys and her things to her little sister. It's the same idea. So we do have Carly's things out. They've been washed. They're up in Ella's closet and in her room, waiting to be used. And yes, it's incredibly bittersweet to see them, knowing that they were intended for our first daughter. But I think it's also going to feel really good to be able to put a living, breathing baby in those things. So I look forward to that. I don't want this video to be too long, but I do want to continue maybe filming, since I have this great opportunity where I'm home and it's quiet and I can actually do this. So maybe I'll film a couple more videos and then post them in the days to come after this one goes up. I have to take advantage of moments like this. So, all right, guys, that's my 32-week update and a bunch of other random stuff shoved in this one video, but there you go. Hope everyone is well.